Good evening, I am Adventure Argonaut. This is the Golden News, and I bring you the news. First, let's check that my streams are working. Kick out kick chat or pop out kick chat so I can actually see it. I don't know, last time I tried it on OBS, it didn't really show all the chatters to me, which is a long time ago, but I still don't trust it. But anyway, so I have Kick and Twitch. How about Rumble? How is it rumbling right now? Oh, Agent Double Hertz, welcome. You're on time today. Yes, I have some news. Let's see, what sort of news do I have? So UK digital ID, that's not new news, probably if you've paid attention, but yeah, UK is once again in the forefront of pushing tyranny. So Keir Starmer, not Queer Stormer, announces mandatory digital ID for the right to work in the UK. Now, and I have too many tabs open, so my computer doesn't like it. So maybe I should start closing them as soon as I go through one. Yes, okay, let's stop the video. So yeah, Keir Starmer, let me spell that out. You will not be able to work in the United Kingdom if you do not have a digital ID. And he has addressed the UK public saying the digital ID will be required to work in this country. So Andrew Bridgen, I think he's a politician in Britland, and he says Starmer threatens that if we don't accept digital ID, we won't be able to work in the UK. Full Stalin after 12 months in office. Personally, I don't like being threatened. How do you feel about it? I think it's time he was out of a job before he does any more harm to our country and our people. And yeah, I wholeheartedly agree with the sentiment. But like the problem is that the British people should make sure that nobody like Keith Starmer is gonna follow him up. Like I if they even manage to get rid of him, his successor might be a bit slower in pushing the tyranny, but eventually it's gonna be some. They're gonna bring somebody who will be pushing tyranny quite hard. So yeah, digital ID cards for all. Starmer to announce. So Brit cards to be given to all adults as part of government fight against illegal immigration. Oh yeah, it's about illegal immigration. Yeah, sure. That's why they have to spy on their own citizens more effectively. And Rupert Lowe MP says, I will do everything in my power to fight this. So, it sounds like there are some politicians in the UK that at least try to do some good. Of course, you should never trust politicians too far, but at least, it's already a positive signs, like if politicians at least act like they care about relevant issues. So Keir Starmer said, I know you're worried about the level of illegal migration into this country. Digital ID is another measure to make it tougher to work illegally here, making our borders more secure. See, so doesn't that just mean that the illegal immigrants, they cannot work in UK, so they just have to get welfare, while the regular British citizens are being spied on and forced to work and pay taxes to the government, and then the government gives money to the migrants? Isn't that how it works nowadays? So there is a community note. UK law already requires all employees to give proof of a right to work to employers. For British and Irish citizens, this is a passport of or birth certificate. For non-citizens, this is a government provided share code or immigrant documents. Yeah. So how do they actually manage to enforce their laws then? Um, like better with the digital ID? How does it help against the illegal immigrants and stuff? Okay, and GB review says actual 1984 sheet creates problem, offers solution to a problem, solution is a fix, but a lie to the people. Don't know how any UK citizen could be okay with this. Yeah, well, I guess they so far haven't done anything, and UK has been going um, down this road for at least 2 decades. And finally, people are starting to complain, which is, good, but it's a bit slow. Labour MP for Holborn. Oh, it's interesting because here in Hong Kong, there's like a apartment building, a fairly new one called the Holborn. Holborn. I guess it's Holborn in very, British kind of way. So yeah, Keir Starmer got community note. It's the same community note, but I just, it's good that somebody took a screen cap in case they delete it. And Boris Johnson says, I will never accept a government ID card. I will never use one. If asked to produce one, I will refuse. Hope you do too. So this is sort of silly because, like, Boris Johnson, who still has Ukraine colors here, he's trying to act like he's anti-establishment or something, and that just doesn't. His former PM doesn't really um, like fly. It's not credible, in my opinion. So Keir Starmer saying, yeah, this illegal immigration, and Ripple says, bollocks, we don't want digital ID, we don't need digital ID, except profound resistance in expect profound resistance in parliament. They might resist, but are they willing to, is this the hill they are willing to die on? Because that's, so far, most of the, even the, the most decent politicians, they are willing to say things that people agree with, but are they actually willing to do stuff? Uh, so yeah, this is the start of a social credit system. It's wrong, and everybody should say no. When you have eaten too much beef and overstepped your CO2 allowance, when you go up to fill your car, it won't let you put your petrol in. Send a clip to anyone who thinks the Chinese style digital ID is for their benefit. Okay, it's only 1 minute. I guess we can have a watch.
The problem with digital ID, and I read this article by Pat McFadden today, who's Tony Blair's mouthpiece, because Tony Blair wants this because he's going to make zillions from it, by the way. It's the only thing he talks about. There is only one line in this whole article which, for me, is absolutely critical, and that is that it's going to be so easy to do all of the things that you've just said. You can even collect your supermarket loyalty points on it. Yeah. That is the scariest line in that whole article. You know why? Because eventually, Kai, when we have this whole thing where you can't do anything in society without your digital ID, not only will you be able to collect your supermarket points on it, which sounds all lovely, when you've eaten too much beef because you've overstepped your carbon footprint, it won't let you buy it at the tills. When you go to fill up your car, it won't let you put petrol in. And when you haven't been a nice person online, it won't let you get on an airplane. This is the start of a social credit system. It's wrong, and everybody should say no, and I will say no. We have a passport. They know who I am.
Did they mute her at that point, like her last few seconds on the program, because the her voice disappeared? But it's starting to remind me of certain science fiction book written a while ago. Oh no, wait, it's not science fiction; it's the Bible, and the mark of the beast. You can't buy without it. Like, I guess at first it's gonna just be a card, but eventually they're gonna put a microchip in your forehead or your arm or something. And I think I've said this before, but it doesn't really matter whether you're a believer in the Bible or Jesus or any of that stuff or not. Like, especially if you are, you should be wary of the mark of the beast. But even if you're not, like, some people seem to be taking the bad things about the Bible as like a instruction manual, or from any kind of science fiction and books as well. I'm not implying Bible is sci-fi, but you could also interpret it as sci-fi in some sense. But anyways, anti-labor protest erupted in Liverpool during Labour's conference. Farmers, bikers, and thousands of ordinary people are hitting the streets to obey digital ID. Keir Starmer's days are numbered. See, it's like this sort of hopium, like, yeah, okay, people are angry and that's good, but people are willing, have to be willing to do more than get angry. Like, I think it's a good start, but too often, like all these protests and stuff, like either they get some sort of cosmetic change, or like slow down the march towards absolute tyranny, but like they don't actually uh, you know turn the tide entirely, so that you actually start to make things better, and also punish the evildoers. Like people should be building oubliettes for people like Keir Starmer. This is the most important video to watch right now, with digital ID being forced upon us. Alex Phillips explains how every Labour cabinet minister and every past and present Labour minister is part of a group called the Fabian Society, whose sole objective is to bring down capitalism and replace it with communism. Yeah, the Fabian Society is already from like the 19th century. And this is exactly what they are doing by doing everything they can to destroy the British identity and a way of life and replace it with people who have always worked hand in hand with socialist and communist Muslims. Have they always? Like, sure, you will find some Muslims who work with communists and stuff, but is it that statement is a bit odd. Anyway, the digital ID has been used in communist China and Vietnam, where they used it to bring in a social credit system and debunked 83 million people in should be debanked, not debunked. People in Vietnam who refused the card. The Fabians are so it doesn't mean that it's 83 million people. I think it was 86, but anyway, how many millions of it was bank accounts. So it might be less people. Like some people can have own more than one bank account, but still lots of people. I do believe it. The Fabians are the enemy of the British people. Their original emblem was a wolf in sheep's clothing for a reason. This shirt is for. Actually, I'm not gonna play this video. Yeah, it's 10 minutes, but I guess the main point is like the claim that they are members of the Fabian Society. I guess that's something one might look deeper into. But like India is just like a superficial moniker, because we know that most of these politicians, they are bought and paid for by whatever globalist establishment is in power. Oh yeah, this is not so much related to the digital ID. But so here we see a cop, just girl, 16-year-old girl waving the Union Jack, and then the cop just takes it from her. You know.
Whoa. Why would you do that?
Because you've been a kid.
Because I've been a kid, or what does it mean? But like, yeah, what is he stealing? Like, did she steal the flag from somebody and he's bringing it back to the rightful owner? I doubt it. He stole from the girl. Like, it's a freaking British flag. It's not like even the Nazi flag, or something, like it's the flag, official flag of her country. It doesn't make sense. Okay, speaking at the WEF in 2023, Tony Blair asserts the importance of digital ID. In the end, you need the data, you need to know who's been vaccinated and who hasn't been, for reasons to do with healthcare and more generally, but certainly a pandemic or for vaccines. You have to got to have a proper digital infrastructure, and I do think that the company that um, produces these digital IDs. It's Tony Blair's son, I think, has something to do with it. Surely it's just a coincidence. And people have signed the petition to, do not introduce digital ID cards. Here it says 1.5 million, but I think it's even higher. Maybe it's more like 2 million, or I don't know. I think I've seen later versions of this, but whatever. Like, once again, it's good that people are getting active and aware of what's going on, but like, petitioning the tyrannical government. Like, you have, let's say you have the, like the ruler of your country is Jackal, the necromancer who is sacrificing children and turning your citizens in your family members into zombies and stuff to do his bidding and summoning demons and stuff like that. Do you think, like, saying like, writing a petition saying like, don't turn my family members into zombies, like, will they listen? Will they care? No, you have to build an oubliette for the necromancer. Oh, yeah, and then this is due to local laws, we are temporarily restricting access to content until X estimates your age. See, I'm not in fucking UK. I'm not in even in Europe. So why does this affect me? Like I did check with a VPN, so it was this. I'll be right back. I'll go get some socks. Gonna put some socks on my feet, not on my nose or in my ears. Not this time. But anyways, break-in video outside the Regent's Park Masjid. Is it like a mosque or something? Masjid in London. Muslims knife each other in a brawl. Cars is used as a weapon, bodies fly everywhere. So it's like gang wars, ethnic gang wars or something in London. So why is this restricted? I guess because it shows violence or something. But in when I used America, used VPN to go to America, I could see it. So I guess Americans can handle the violence, but the rest of the world can't. So yeah, but just imagine if these Muslims had digital IDs, none of this could have happened, right? So the Brit card will be run on an app made by Multiverse, multinational company founded by Yuan Blair. Not sure how to pronounce his name. Yep, son of the four-faced warmongering liar Tony Blair. His shares are about £375 million. Looks okay. The second photo is the one. Is one of the author of law guidebook about implementation of European human rights in British law. Is this not a long planned and disingenuous control system these lizards have had on the table for over 30 years? Vomit inducing. So wait, so is this the author of the book then? So it's not you and Blair, whatever. But as far as I know, is the Blair? Yeah, it's Tony Blair. Jinkies. And I would have succeeded if it weren't for your meddling kids. Well, the plan isn't foiled yet. But hey, taking off the head of Tony Blair, that doesn't, there's something poetic about it. What's this? Your digital ID becomes your individual carbon footprint tracker, aka carbon wallet. Like that's one of the most retarded things ever. You have this carbon footprint, especially like for individuals. I boiled water twice today, so tomorrow I can only do it 3 times or something. Like, come on. And then, of course, governments and corporate, like, multinational corporations can, of course, boil zillions of liters of water per day and stuff. That's how it works. We are developing consumers to measure their own carbon footprint, where they are traveling, what they are eating, what they are consuming. How about I'm just gonna let's build an oubliette for people like this. And also, Switzerland approves digital ID with 50.4% voting yes. An earlier proposal was rejected in 2021. The digital ID will be optional. I like the quotation marks here. Yeah, optional, my ass. Like, yes, you can not, you know, you don't have to take the ID, but then you cannot work or you cannot use public transport or whatever. You cannot go here, you cannot go there. Yeah, this is continuous to the flag thief cop. We lodged a formal complaint against police liaison officer 2662 after shocking footage shows him ripping the Union flag from a 16-year-old girl's hands at the Newcastle rally on Saturday. No citizen should ever be treated this way in Britain. And I don't want to say like I get into trouble if I said what I thought this guy should be done to this guy. It's been reported that Keir Starmer gave land to his parents through a 1990s trust, ensuring the asset would never face inheritance tax regardless of its value. So he hammers farmers for the very thing he tries to dodge himself. So yeah, this at least should be a I don't know politically viable way to get rid of Keir Starmer, but like I've said before, it should be made clear that whoever comes after that, he's not just another Tony Blair with a face mask on. And UK, so yeah, these are just other UK news. UK judge sentences man to 2 years imprisonment for Facebook comment. In case anyone believed this is an exaggeration that you could be jailed here for posting wrong thing online, here you go. Yeah, it's just, let's listen to a little
to a
bit.
post questioning why, you wrote, "Because they're over here, given life of Riley, off the tax us hard-working people earn, when it could be put to better use.
Okay,
Come
okay,
over
I'm
here."
getting so bored, and his like some volume is so low and stuff. I don't want to crank it all up to 11. So yeah, I don't know. Like once again, I don't know what he said on Facebook, but like unless he's like actually, I don't know, he's a mafia don selling his underlings to go kill somebody or something like yeah, you shouldn't get go to prison for stuff you're saying on Facebook unless you're just saying that making the statement that Facebook itself is offensive and you should go to jail for using Facebook. Maybe that would be better. But anyway, and 75-year-old Rose Docherty has been arrested again for holding a sign reading "Coercion is a crime. Here to talk only if you want" within a Scottish buffer zone. Rose was kept in a cell for 2 hours, refused a chair despite having a double hip replacement. Coercion is a crime. Here to talk only if you want. So, talk about what? I don't know. So yeah, Rose has been charged under the Scottish buffer zones law, which prohibits influencing within 200 meters of a hospital. This comes despite the fact that she only stood peacefully offering conversation, not approaching anyone more in our press release. So I don't even like. Come on, old woman is. I wanna talk. Like, does she like? I wanna talk about how I'm gonna rip off your head and shit in your down your neck or what? What's so offensive? What she like? Is it about abortion or what? I don't even wanna know because it's unless this is fake news, then she wasn't arrested for uh, wanting to talk. Hey, at least in America you get shot in the neck for wanting to talk. Well, it's quite disingenuous. Like there's a difference between political figure like Charlie Kirk, and I'm not saying it's uh, it's justified, but it's different. She is still I don't know just some woman, not a millionaire, I presume, and a head of a large organization. Anyways, and Catherine Bleck Blakelock BP. I'm writing to Waitrose and all the other supermarkets with a simple question, one question letter. What percentage of meat sold in your supermarket is religiously slaughtered? If you refuse to answer, I'm going to order every fresh and frozen meat item on their website and legally demand answers via subject access requests. All meat purchased is paid for personally by me. Robin Tilbrook and I are researching as volunteers. All funds go to a non-for-profit company limited by guarantee for the lawsuit. Please help us do a judicial review. Thank you. So yeah, I do think you're supposed to be selling people if it's religiously slaughtered. The law is being broken on an industrial scale for money by everyone because it's cheaper and less regulated. Okay, so interesting. And this is the UK, truly an abomination. Every single one of those immigrants lives on the dime of hardworking native Britons. So 755,000 population rise in a year was 98% migration. That's crazy numbers. Yeah, it's September 27, 2025. The Times. And this is not UK, but similar stuff. Though Brazil enacts age verification law mandating digital ID, curbing online anonymity. Brazil just passed a law forcing age checks on digital platforms. Framed as child protection, the digital ECA opens the door to mandatory digital IDs, killing online anonymity in the process. It's part of global trend. Age verification as Trojan horse for mass identification. Lula calls it digital sovereignty. Hey, it sounds like what's the guy that the Romanian gypsy who lives in his head? Academic agent, because he's academic agent is supposedly defending some of this digital stuff in UK. So, and he said it's about sovereignty, that if a website is in UK, even though like it's an American website, for example, they can find it any way they want, which is bullshit. But yeah, I think Lula listens to academic agent or vice versa. Anyway, it's surveillance infrastructure built under the banner of safety. Yeah. Oh, all right. Let's go to another stories then. So that was UK and the shithole that UK has become. So yeah. So Twitter sucks. I was once again um, not banned, but locked. My account on Twitter was locked because I said this, because I was talking about Keir Starmer and his digital ID. I asked a question and I was forced to remove it. I asked, why haven't Brits tarred and feathered this guy yet? I asked him a question and I'm not advocating for even violence. It's just tarred and feathered. It's a symbolical statement. And previously, the same thing happened to me when I said I hoped the Finnish president stubbed his toe. And it's also a pun because his name is Stubb. But whatever. So I'm just, wanna rant about what a piece of shit platform Twitter is. Like, sure, it's better than it was like 5 years ago, but it's still like it pisses me off that many of these center right YouTubers and influencers are saying like, oh yeah, Twitter is a savior of free speech now and all that, but it's not. And it's very hypocritical the way they um, like who they punish with this sort of stuff. I'm asking a question. I'm not advocating anything. Like you can say I'm implying or suggesting something indirectly. Maybe I am, maybe I'm not. But I think stuff like this should be allowed, especially since I'm going to show some examples. So, well, this is brilliant. Doge Designer says X will never censor you, and then This guy says, yes, it will. Niagara, visibility limited. This post may violate access rules against hateful content conduct. So yeah, that was the best way of, I don't know, proving somebody wrong, Mr. Doge designer. And oh yeah, and then there's this. So once again, somebody replying to Keir Starmer. Leonardo Joni says, this guy is literally gaslighting everyone. He brings in endless third world migrants, arrest conservatives, institutes digital ID. We are building a fairer country. They used to guillotine leaders like this. Like, once again, I do think speech like this should be allowed, certainly, but like, you could easily make the argument that this is more, you know, aggressive speech than the comment I made. Yet, her comment is here. And I think one reason is that she actually, has the blue check mark. She paid for to, talk on this shitty platform, which is, out of like principle, I don't want to give them my money because they, like, I know I would get more, theoretically, I would get more reach, but no. I don't want to give them my money. It's offensive they're doing. And even Critical Drinker says to Clear Stomach, fuck off with your surveillance state bullshit. Digital ID is about one thing and one thing only, control. See, you could say this is more aggressive than what I said. Like, in Germany, he might get into trouble by saying fuck off to a politician like this, because if in Germany you can get into trouble for calling a fat politician fat, I think this might be worse. But I guess UK still has some things better than Germany. Hey, Stolen Hellcat, welcome. And what's this? Keir Starmer, Leonardo Joni saying, you will not rule forever, and when the time comes, there will be nowhere to hide. See, this could also be interpreted as a threat. And once again, I agree with Leonardo Joni's statement that she should be able to say it, but why is her comment allowed, but mine isn't? And once again, because these people have blue check marks, so they have more leeway, I guess. And once again, Germanic friends responding to Keir Starmer, basically they want to track every British citizen with digital ID, and if you resist your replacement immigration, they know who you are. Wake up UK, they have declared war on you. It's like, okay, this isn't as um, inflammatory, but it's still saying that, see, I cannot even like it because read only mode. Fuck you, Elon cheat. But see, you could say he's saying like, you're in war, you have to fight. It's about killing. So but the same. But once again, I don't want these people banned. I want everybody to be able to say stuff that isn't any kind of direct threat or anything, like a credible threat. That's usually the. Because this is it. This will tie shots to it. Vaccines. Ah. You mean the vaccines are tied to the like digital ID, and this is interesting. So this is even more like so Norm Cruise's comment was like, he just said free speech, and he had to remove it. I don't know what it means. Like, is it some? Yeah, like before I reported on how Tony Blair said that we have to know who is vaccinated, who is not. So yeah, it's so related to the same stuff. But like, yeah, how is this offensive? Free speech, like, is it code for something? Like, I don't know, FP. Well, there was a. So is this like yeah, what the fuck, dude? Wait, I was born in your house. Like raid on, is it Hassan Piker? So bug spray, free speech. Is this? Okay, now I get it. Free speech. Okay, now I got it. But still, how is that offensive? But yeah, this is what I wanted to show. So well, why is this like bad to say that? Also, this guy choose liberty. So unless this is a Photoshop or something, so he just like tagged Sarah is censored and then just hateful content. I don't know who is Sarah is censored, but it's like it's insane. Like who the fuck is running Twitter? And also, and this is allowed to stay. So like Professor Chise just shows a clip of some animes edited or something. So where is it? I know. Okay. So yeah, girl says I'm not a virgin, and then a guy walks away. And supposedly in the original anime, it's not like that. Um, so I'm not a girl or I'm not a virgin, and then he walks away. And this K here says people are really disgusting. I hope that the wives, girlfriends, assuming that they go outside of these people, get raped live. So this is allowed. This is not banned. Like this is fine, but oh yeah, yeah. And the funniest thing about that, I'm gonna show the stuff that was removed from. Was forced to remove. It was flagged in less than a minute. I wrote the comment, and then immediately I had to like prove that I'm not a bot, and after that I got this message. So it's probably some sort of AI or something who is like protecting the European politicians. Like European politicians are the fucking like cowardly as most wimpy creatures to have ever existed. Like contemporary European politicians, nothing is more despicable. There might be some more evil characters out there, but they at least a proper bad guy has some backbone and stuff, but it's just disgusting creatures. But anyways, then let's go. It's Twitter related because it's Elon Musk. So Elon Musk and Prince Andrew named in the Epstein files, but of course it's supposedly not that simple. So Epstein's private calendar shows Steve Bannon, Peter Thiel, and lunch with Elon Musk. Prince Andrew was booked on his jet. These files were in the DOJ's hands for years. They buried it, release every damn page. Uh, yeah, so lunch with Peter Thiel, blah blah blah. Reed Wade Garden, don't know who or what that is. Steve Bannon, party with Bill Gates. Elon Musk to Ireland December 6th. Is it still happening? So he was at least invited to the island. Don't know if he went there. But anyways, but here it says that at least Elon Musk claims that it's not the same context that him and Prince Andrew. So shame on Sky News for this utterly misleading headline. Anyone pushing this false narrative deserves complete contempt. Epstein tried to get me to go to his island and I refused, yet they named me even before Prince Andrew, who did visit. Maybe he's telling the truth, but hey, Elon Musk, stop censoring me. Then I will start defending you, you wanker. I know he's probably not doing it himself. He's not flagging my post, but the your employees are. You should take care of that they actually do stuff properly instead of arbitrarily censoring people. I really do hate arbitrariness. Okay, well let's move on. So Charlie Kirk assassination discrepancies. Of course, this is a story that just keeps popping up. I don't purposefully go looking for all this stuff about Charlie Kirk's, but there are all sorts of stuff that I have to comment on. So Charlie Kirk said Israelis provide the best security in a now deleted portion of his conversation with Bill Maher from April. Charlie's security on the day of his assassination was Zionist owner-owned Schaefer Security, who ended their contract with TP USA in 2022, but suddenly appeared for this one event. But I think I should have somewhere here claim that it's not actually Schaefer, that it's some other company. I'm not sure how it actually works, but let's see. Um, so yeah, uncensored AI. Was Charlie Kirk using new security detail on the day he was assassinated? Charlie Kirk was using his old security detail for Schaefer Security Group on the day he was assassinated. A company led by Greg Schaeffer, I don't know, has previously protected Kirk from 2015 to 2022, but weren't his current security team. They were brought back in for that specific event, raising questions about why his usual detail wasn't present. Schaefer confirmed they were providing consulting and specialized support for the Utah Valley University appearance. So they are Schaefer. It's probably this info that says that Schaefer had nothing to do with it. Anyways, noticeably, there was no ambulance on the site, suggesting a lack of standard security protocols. The Schaefer Security Group logo features the Lion of Judah symbol associated with Jewish heritage, adding another layer of intrigue given Kirk's recent criticisms of Israel. And so Erika Kirk hosts the Charlie Kirk. So, Erika, let's
Yeah, we're just so glad you're here.
No, I'm grateful. I mean, I know we talked about this, we prayed on it. We really tried to discern properly how to go about the next few stages and steps of everything. And we've been very intentional in a way that always keeps Charlie first and his dreams alive and his legacy going. And what's so beautiful is to see.
Yeah, that's enough for now. So Germania here says, I have lost loved ones in the past, and when I did, I sure as hell didn't want to be around anyone. Maybe she processes pain differently, but just seems off. Yeah, I have experienced similar things, and like her smile especially, like it's, I don't know, it's looks too happy. It's weird. At this point, I'm just gonna say that. Like it's possible that she's just no pressure to I don't know, hide her pain and act act a certain way and stuff. But oh yeah, and because I'm not sure if I have a tab on that, but like her. Oh yeah, this is about the security stuff, but like about Erika Kirk, because she there was some controversy also a while ago that she forgave the shooter, the killer of Charlie Kirk. And like people are claiming that's a Christian thing to do, but I beg to differ, since uh, you're supposed to do, forgive those who have wronged you if they repent, but has the killer, whoever that maybe, has he or they them repented for these actions? And I don't think so. So yeah, I don't think she's being a good Christian if she's just forgiving the husband's killers. And I do think she first she said killers, like right after the shooting had happened and stuff. But yeah, Schaefer Security Group here says my firm was not in Utah on well the day of he was shot. SSG has not been affiliated with TPUS since 2022. The private security firm hiding in the shadows, not taking responsibility for their actions, is a Rockhouse Integrity Group. DPA is Integrity Security Solutions, open source. It's sort of, maybe it's true, but it's sort of weird how they're pointing fingers. Like it wasn't us, it was these guys. So, exclusive in a now deleted tweet from yesterday, the previous private security firm for Turning Point USA, Schaefer Security Group, ID'd the team that was allegedly guarding Charlie Kirk when he was killed. That firm's name is Integrity Security Solutions, founded by former police officer Brian Harpo. But that's not all. We contacted SSG founder Greg Schaefer last night, and he provided incredible new details about how Integrity Security Solutions came to guard Kirk in the first place. Schaefer was stabbed in the back, he said. Story below. Not gonna read all that stuff, but it is like there are some people suggesting that it's whoever the security company was guarding or not guarding Charlie Kirk on his last day, that they are responsible. And well, my hunch is that whoever, whatever the company was, and the people who really was, were pulling the strings would be Israel, of course. I could be wrong, but that's still my bet. So Kirk clears the air, stating that Charlie was not killed. I fucking hate this. Like, just say killed. Like, these people are supporting tyranny. Like, censoring themselves. Like, oh, I cannot say bad word. Like, I can accept if you, censor fuck or something, but like, killed. Come on. Children say kill when they play games and stuff. Anyway, so let's go back. But it really does trigger me. Erica Clark clears the air, stating that Charlie was not killed in front of her children or her or their children. She explained that she was in Arizona and flew to Utah after receiving the news. So his daughter did not run to Charlie because she was scared of the noise. And yeah, I remember lots of so-called right-wing influencers were talking about this, like, oh my God, so terrible. He was killed in front of his kid, and oh, she went to hug him, and it was all bullshit. Because I don't think I reported this because it sounded a bit off to me. It sounded a bit too like, it's like some movie, and apparently it is. Well, it's not a movie because it's a fanfic story. And why was it pushed? Because you can't really trust anything about this case. Like, I do believe Charlie Kirk was shot where they say, but like all the other details are like, I don't know what actually what happened and how and stuff. But it's like, see, this is emotional manipulation, and they're just trying to make you act emotionally and blame the patsy and the leftists, and the leftists should be blamed for many things, but I don't think it's this incident. I don't think it was the left responsible. So they like actors and actresses because they're good at lying and feigning emotions. Erica Kirk is awful as both. Uncensored AI says. I don't think this is actually AI speaking. I think some guy. So let's have a look.
Of everything, and we've been very intentional in a way that always keeps Charlie first and his dreams
Yeah,
alive.
I think it's the same clip I showed, but this is a shorter version. But like, but yeah, she doesn't seem heartbroken or shocked or anything. But like that, like I don't want to accuse her of anything too much. It's just weird, but I did hear, like, probably soon after Charlie Kirk was killed, that somebody having suspected that she was his handler and stuff, because I think they married in like 4 years ago, 2021. So it's, yeah, it feels a bit off though. Like, either she's basically a prisoner and she's forced to act, or she really didn't really care about her husband that much. That's what it. And this is Erica Kirk. I've seen enough. So yeah, if yeah, I guess it is her because it's from her whatever Insta thought account, I think. So yeah, I've seen. I think there's two ways to interpret it. Either that her true loyalties is to Israel instead of her husband or Jesus or anything like that, or that she's being held hostage and she has to play the game, or the same similar stuff will happen to her and her kids if she doesn't play ball. That's how I see it. Not don't know which one is it. And then there's this. I don't know whether this is true, but the claim is no autopsy was conducted on Charlie Kirk, according to released police dispatch audio. Autopsies for murder victims are legally mandated in the state of Utah. So yeah, I don't like haven't I've seen it mentioned somewhere else, but hey, at least there is no community note saying it's bullshit, so I guess it's true, right? Um, but like the main reason why I think it is probably true that there was no autopsy, and I think I mentioned it last week, is because of the bullet. Like the official story is that since there was no exit wound, the bullet was lodged inside him, but it took more than a week for them to figure it out that, the bullet supposedly was inside him. But like, shouldn't they have found it if they did an autopsy, right? So yeah, they probably didn't do an autopsy, which of course suggests that the authorities were in on it, like covering the crime, surely. That's only reasonable way of interpreting this fact, if it is a fact. So Ben Verman here says, not Vermin, Verman. How long are people going to keep telling themselves everyone grieves differently until their natural intuition kicks in and they realize every moment Erica has been on camera since September 10th has been inconsistent with the way anyone on Earth would act in her situation? Yeah, because like she doesn't look like she's close to tears. Like if you're talking emotionally about your dead loved one, like normally I do think it would be really difficult to hold back tears. It's been a couple of weeks, so like it's weird. There's footage of him shooting Charlie. No, there isn't. He was shot in front of his family. No, he wasn't. Salah confessed to the murder. No, he didn't. He admitted it to his partner. You mean the boomer fetch lab they tried to force feed us? By the way, the partner vanished. Lol. Yeah, yeah. Twigsy, whatever his name is. He's vanished supposedly if he ever existed. And you're a low IQ anti Semite if you find many discrepancies in this story. And here, so the man who made the weird head movement right before the shot was taken was part of Kirk's security detail. So yeah, this guy. I think he's one of the guys who were making weird movements, clearly sending some sort of signal. Shown it in previous streams. I don't have the clip now. But yeah, it sort of looked like he would be. And also, yeah, one thing, can't say, that I'm 100% correct, but it doesn't like the clips I've seen of Charlie Kirk being shot. Like I didn't see any of his security, trying to cover him. Like normally, even if he's practically dead at that point, the security should try to jump him and try to protect him from any further shots. I haven't seen anything like that. Like, when Trump got shot in the ear, they were on him quite quickly, and there's the famous picture. But, like, for Kirk, did they just, when he got shot, all his so called security were just standing there? That's my impression. So, yeah, AF Post, Erica, TP USA CEO Erica Kirk says she's so excited to publish Charlie Kirk's unused material, including the late conservative activist speeches and unaired specials. Buckle up because there's a lot of content to be had, Erica told viewers of Charlie Kirk show, which will continue in Charlie's absence. So yeah, Uncle here says that the fact that she's 5 years older than Charlie and they literally met in Israel leads me to think she was always another Mossad agent. Also, if you watch Charlie's assassination, okay, this is silly typo, but anyway, assassination closely, it's very clear some sort of um, explosive device. Maybe his mic axed him. There's literally 0% that whatever the FBI cheat, so Cash Patel said happened, was the case, especially considering the round they claim hit him would have exploded his head like a watermelon. Overall, the whole thing smells like Mossad killing JFK again. Never wife a woman older, or she will literally parade your death into more girl boss moments like Erica here. You don't hate women, you are retard, do you? I'm not saying I agree with everything he says, but I do think it's, worth considering at least some of the things he said. And a walkthrough of UVU, so the place where he was killed, reveals sea of cameras. Nearly every corner, every entrance, every rooftop, cameras everywhere mounted, hidden, overlapping. So with that much surveillance inside and outside Utah Valley University, what are they hiding from us? So yeah, that's the case. Not just this incident, but whenever there's any kinds of major crime, usually like that makes headlines, like yeah, they don't aren't able to catch the culprit, but like when you make a naughty message on social media, the feds are up your ass in 5 minutes. Funny how that works, isn't it? But yeah, it's a good point. There's many cameras, of course. There's going to be lots of cameras on a campus nowadays. Well, I guess they forgot to switch them on that day. Oh, it happens, no biggie. No harm done. Oh yeah. Oh wait. There's a little bit of harm done. Yeah. And okay. So they are apparently remodeling the place where Charlie was shot. So I don't care what you say. Remodeling a homicide scene to this degree 2 weeks after it happened is not normal. Yeah, it reminds me of Sandy Hook because the school was demolished pretty soon after the alleged shooting at Sandy Hook. So yeah, you're a fucking low IQ. Like you're a literal NPC if you believe the official story. Like, okay, I can understand. Like, if you haven't paid attention, you haven't thought about it. Fine, I will forgive you, but please don't claim to know what you're talking about. Like, if you don't bother to look into this assassination at least like 30 minutes, then you should be able to find like, wait, a lot of the stuff doesn't make sense. So like certain people who call you low IQ anti-Semites, not to that you don't believe that it was just Tyler Durden, I mean Tyler Robinson by himself. But anyways, and then there's Erica Kirk's parents seem to be a bit unusual. So yeah, here is Blackout War state initiatives to achieve preparedness against an electromagnetic pulse EMP catastrophe task force and national and homeland security. So there's lots of name, and here is Laurie Francois. Francois, yes. So I think that's Erica Kirk's mom. And the desktop business intelligence source book, where to find looking at this, it looks like some sci-fi RPG source book. It even says source book, like Traveler or something. Anyways, where to find best, most current information on industries, companies, products, government markets, the economy, statistics, and more. So Kent R. Francois, not sure how to say the name, but I'm gonna say it like that. I think that's the dad of Erica Kirk. So yeah, here is Linda Franson and Ken Francois. Wait, her maiden name, is that like is her maiden name really Franson and then it's Francois? Okay, that sounds a bit odd. Like maybe it's just coincidental, or maybe they happen to meet because their last names sound. It's almost like, I don't know. It's like cousins or something. Oh yeah, he looks weird, of course. And her jaw is huge. Whatever. So yeah, company name Techmetrics International Inc. Arizona business. Blah blah blah. So Lori A. Francois, Chief Executive Officer, and Lori A. Francois, President CEO. So she's both. Yeah. So if this information here is correct, they are some sort of glowies, both of her parents, which would make like it's more likely that their kids are also glowies. Yeah, that is a bit sus. Like, and that's not even all sus about Erica Kirk. And I really don't want. I dislike the idea of accusing her of everything, but like when the shoe fits and that. Oh yeah, and then there's this. Seems very witchy, and there's not much about her ethnicity or race. Transfer the related surname Francis has Eastern European Jewish roots deriving from the Germanic name Franz. Therefore, it's possible that a variant of the Franz surname could have a connection to the Jewish diaspora. So, yeah, Franz the Jewish name origin. Yeah, so of course it's just Google saying stuff, and yeah, it's not the same name, but still, I don't know. And then there's this about the assassination afterwards. This man was spotted wearing a law enforcement badge at the scene of Charlie Kirk's assassination. The second he noticed the camera, he tore it off and hid it. Why would he do that? Yes, take the music away. So yeah, he's taking away the star. So does it mean he's a fake cop, or he doesn't want other people to know he's a cop? Which one is it? Who is this guy? Surely the law enforcement people know already, and they found out who is he, and what is he doing there, and why. If they actually care about the truth, which I really doubt they do. But and here, Alex Jones is claiming, so it's Alex Jones taking it with a pitcher of salt. Tyler Robinson confirmed to be in a CIA advanced program for college students, the Center for Anticipatory Intelligence, as his defense considers waiving the preliminary hearing. If his lawyers waive the preliminary hearing, then I would say that Tyler Robinson is in an MK Ultra style program. The lawyers in this video discuss and share reasons why they wish not to waive the preliminary hearing. The claim in this source that Tyler Robinson is confirmed to be a CIA program CAI has no sources to back it up. So yeah, I don't know whether this is true, but it's clearly a patsy. Patsy. So okay. Deep Web Slinger says, okay guys, we need to figure out who this brown shirt Ratfather is. He's the countdown clock and ringleader of this whole thing. We need to identify him, and I don't ask people to share posts very often, but asking you to share this post. So this guy here.
Shot noise. So this pretty much convinced me that this theory is quite compelling and needs to be seriously investigated. Gang violence.
They didn't really say I'm not suicidal, and then he was shot right after by Charlie Kirk. And he seemed to be showing some sort of signal, or maybe activating a switch or something. Uncensored AI says, this is the guy. He signals to Dan Flood 5 minutes before Charlie gets killed. He looks around to make sure someone is on the roof. He adjusts what appears to be a detonator on his arm. Dan Flood takes a step back from Charlie and centers himself before Charlie's neck basically explodes. Then he passes off something to another security member after the assassination is over. And finally, Dan Flood takes a picture of dead Charlie with his sunglasses. That picture was mission accomplished to whoever they killed Carly Kirk for. It may have whatever. It may have allowed the Jerusalem Post to be the very first outlet to call Charlie Kirk dead. Charlie Kirk security killed Charlie Kirk. Yeah, that's the sentence I was looking for. I remember one of my tabs said that. Yeah, that seems very likely. I think that's probably the norm almost nowadays, how political assassinations are handled. And okay, George Webb here claims that the
Well, we're at 1545. 1545. Is that a Dairy Queen sign?
yeah, so that's supposedly
Interestingly enough, it
Tyler
is
Robinson went couple of
Looks like
hours.
it's been totally taken apart. Got cleaning mop buckets everywhere and so forth. And it's right across, by the way, from Brigham Young University, right across from the stadium, right?
So there are lots of people saying that this is the wrong Dairy Queen. That's not the one where Tyler Robinson was pictured. So I don't know if he's right or if they're right. But this is like accounts like only people that he follows or has mentioned can reply. I don't like this. Normally I block people like this, but for now I'll forgive him. And I guess he got a lot of shit for making this claim. So it's possible he's correct, and people are just shitting on him because he's correct, or maybe he's wrong and people are shitting on him. So I'm not sure. I can't actually, I can't go and check myself what's the case. So. Congresswoman Yasamin Ansari sounds like some, I don't know, weird attack in some JRPG. Anyway, she says Charlie Kirk's racist. No, no. Yeah. Let's read this first. So Charlie Kirk's image could be printed on new U.S. currency. Charlie Kirk's racist, xenophobic, homophobic, and misogynistic rhetoric ran directly counter to the values of equality and justice I fight for every day. Republicans should stop with the theatrics and govern. I'll be voting no. So I agree with her. Like, I don't agree with all these blah 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 buzzwords, but I think this is absolutely retarded. Why would he be on the currency? Like on mon like fucking hate this virtue signaling bullshit. Like, okay, if you wanna honor Charlie Kirk, figure out who killed him and punish the evildoers. How about that? Instead of doing stupid virtue signaling like this. This is it's just like trying to make you look good. Like, oh, I care so much about Charlie Kirk. I'm gonna do this fucking bullshit. That's cosmetic bullshit that just doesn't matter. It's weird. Like somebody, isn't it usually like you make well, either you make put the current monarch of your country in the money, or you put somebody who was a significant person in your country who's been dead for centuries or decades, like your old presidents and shit. Uh, but like maybe in 50 years they can consider if it's considered that Charlie Kirk was really just a great guy in 50 years from now. But it's like it's too way too early to even mention anything like that. So it just sickens me. Okay, and here we have not gonna play that one. It's 18 minutes, but FBI agent blows whistle. Stand down order given on morning Charlie Kirk was assassinated. The official narrative is crumbling. An FBI insider has blown the whistle, confirming that many suspected all along. The local law enforcement were ordered to stand down moments before the Charlie Kirk assassination, handing the assassins handing the assassins a clear path to strike and escape. This wasn't chaos; it was choreography, a setup years in the making. So yeah, I don't know whether this FBI whistleblower actually exists or what, but like it sounds credible to me. Like that's my assessment as well, especially if there was no autopsy or anything. It has to be like the authorities, not just the um, security team who did it, but also the law enforcement and secret service or whatever it is. And uh, And that's one reason why I think Israel is number one suspect, because they are the ones who have the power to basically dictate to United States government and officials what to do. Like it's not Saudi Arabia or Qatar or North Korea or Russia who has the power. It's Israel. Like I'm not saying Israel is the only group that would be possibly have that power, but they're the most likely one. And then there's this theory that a remote detonator bullet came from Charlie Kirk's lavalier lapel microphone. So let's just have a look. I'm not saying I believe this, but I do think it's at least worth considering.
Tyler Robinson didn't kill Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk's Israeli security detail killed Charlie Kirk. That is the explosion from Charlie Kirk's lavalier lapel mic. Want to see it again? Bring
I'm bringing it closer.
Getting closer. Remember when we told you that that was absolutely an exit wound? Yeah, it is. Check the trajectory of the...
So yeah, supposedly he's has some sort of like some small box thing. I think I saw a picture, but I don't have the tab saved, unfortunately. Like I don't know, like a small box, sort of like for, I don't know, snuff box, or for, looks like it, or like Bluetooth headphones, or something like that, hanging from his lapel, and supposedly that exploded, and there was, yeah, the bullet came to his neck. That's the theory. I don't know whether it actually makes sense, but it's, at least worth considering. At least like 5 minutes worth consideration, if even if it's BS. Oh, and then there's another one where um, lovely Twitter censored me. Due to local laws, we are temporarily restricting access to this content and the estimates your age, but so it's just the same video basically. It's a bit longer. So in Hong Kong, we are not allowed to watch this video, but and bully here, Antti from Finland, clearly. If you can't guess from the name, you can guess from the flag. It doesn't match the audios. So see first, Smartsky said, here's another version with 7 mic locations plotted versus 3. It gets crowded, but for transparency, I felt it was important to showcase some angles plotted well. So I'm not trying to, or gonna try to interpret this stuff, but yeah, this is the rooftop where the shot supposedly came from, and this is where Charlie, yeah. But anyways, Bully says it doesn't match the audio. Audio from 7 microphones tell us that sound originates where the circles overlap, and all theories saying otherwise are instantly debunked. Okay, sounds good. However, there's a good counter argument. So where all the circles overlap, so it wouldn't be here. Am I misinterpreting it? Anyways, watch the video until the end. He explains how trained military ballistics experts commonly use sound decoys in political assassinations. Yeah, that makes complete sense, because like, if you're trying to assassinate somebody and be tricky about it, that then yeah, you should probably create a distraction of some sort. So that makes sense to me. So yeah, I'm not saying I believe the Lapel Lavalier story, but it's one possibility, I guess. And then there's this: the mic Charlie died holding was contaminated. In political assassination, isn't it the very last thing the victim touched supposed to be preserved as sacred evidence? At Charlie Kirk's crime scene, police casually picked up what appears to be the microphone he was holding when he was shot. They spoke into it, realized it was dead, and then set it back down. No bag, no tag, no forensics. Does that look like proper protocol, or a crime scene changing from the very start? So yeah, there's the microphone. Yeah, I haven't heard this like sacred contaminated evidence stuff, but I think it makes sense. So yeah. But it's obvious. Like, there's so many discrepancies. Like, it's obvious that it's more than a lone nut. That's all I'm gonna say. That definitely that it's not wasn't a lone nut. It was a conspiracy. But okay, let's move on to even crazier stuff. still related to Charlie Kirk, but Snake Eyes movie. Like there's some really weird coincidences with this movie from the 90s with Charlie Kirk assassination. I'm gonna look into it, and I don't know what it actually means, but let's see. There are no coincidences. 1998 movie Snake Eyes with actor Nicolas Cage. The politician Charles Kirkland is shot in the neck. In the movie, the shooting happens on September 10th. Charlie Kirk was shot in the neck in real life on September 10th. You can't just make this stuff up. So yeah, I've never seen the movie. I do recall sort of like seeing that poster or something back in the day. But here they point out that the fight in the film takes place not on the 10th of September but on the 19th. September can be seen when comparing the date of the fight post the 19th with the time 10 p.m. So yeah, it's I think that's I've seen it somewhere else like it's actually 19th, not the 10th. But it's still very interesting coincidence, and that's not the only thing with the movie. So Mossad, Magic Bullet, Evolution, JFK, 9/11, Lebanon, Kirk. Oh yeah, this is the yeah. Okay, I had this picture. So this is supposedly what killed him. Something like this. That's what they claim. I'm sort of oh yeah, because I did see somebody saying that actually that maybe it was the bullet came from behind him through the tent. Like they have some thermal gear that they could still see through the tent. That's another possibility. But like, yeah, if it's something like this, like, wouldn't it be difficult to aim the bullet from it? Because it's attached to fabric, cloth. So of course it's gonna keep moving. So that sounds a bit off to me in this theory. But anyways, what are the odds the entire plot from a movie made 27 years ago would effectively be recreated in person in 2025? Snake Eyes believe everything except your eyes. So, what are the odds, the tightest percentage, that the entire plot of a movie made 27 years ago, including date, big name of victims, time of death, Patty Shooter, abroad, conspiracy, would be recreated in person in 2025? Well, it's not the entire plot of the movie. That's a bit, and also the date is wrong. So that's not the garbage in, garbage out. But let's see what it says. The AI. The odds of such a specific recreation are astronomically low, far beyond 1 in a billion. Movie release date of the real event. This movie Snake Eyes was released in 1998. The odds of a real event mirroring its plot 27 years later on September 10th, 2025 are statistically negligible. Name of victim Charlie Kirk's name matching Charles Kirkland in the movie is a 1 in 10 million coincidence given the rarity of such specific name overlaps in both fiction and reality. Uh, Type of death, neck shot. The odds of a public figure being shot in the neck exactly in a similar setting, a public event, are less than 1 in 100,000. Patsy Shooter. Emergence of a patsy with a similar backstory, such as Tyler Robinson resembling Lee Harvey Oswald, is 1 in a 50 million chance. Okay, that's a bit sus. Anyway, broad conspiracy involvement and alignment of political media and intelligence agencies to cover up the event, as suggested, has a probability of less than 1 in 1 billion. Combining these probabilities in 1 in whatever that number is down there, I don't know, suggests the event is not random. It indicates premeditated, orchestrated act mirroring the movie plot for psychological operations or mass manipulation purposes. Okay, I'm not saying I agree with the AI's assessment of this story, but it's you will not believe this. In the Snake Eyes with Nicolas Cage, the character Charles Kirkland is shot in the neck in front of an audience. Just before that, we see his lucky number, which is the Kabbalah 7 and the all-seeing eye. Not only that, but the cover of the movie is of Detective Rick Sensoro pointing down the same way that Musk and Trump did at his memorial. The shot also nicks Nicolas Cage's Rick Sansoro neck, like Trump's ear, but gets Charles Kirkland in the neck. The scene is 13 minutes in the film. We also have serpent symbology of the snake. The actor who played Charles Kirkland is Joel Fabiani, who is now 88 and still with us. So yeah, the serpent, of course, because this year is Year of the Snake according to the Chinese calendar. And, snake eyes, that's sort of interesting too. So that's where he's shot in the neck in the movie, okay. Uh, okay, Snake Eyes trivia. Snake Eyes 1998. Gilbert Powell is based on Donald Trump. Numerous references to it still remain in the final film. Shot near. I don't know who Gilbert Powell is in the movie, but it's still, interesting coincidence. Okay, Snake Eyes and Charlie Kirk. The film's victim, James Kirkland, has a name similar to Charlie Kirk. In Snake Eyes, Charles Kirkland is shot on the left side of his neck in a crowded boxing arena. Charlie Kirk was shot on the left side of his neck at a crowded UVU campus event. A billboard in Snake Eyes shows September 19th, but the 9 is unclear and resembles September 10th, the date of Kirk's shooting. The Snake Eyes character Lincoln Tyler, aka Tyler the Executioner, is part of the film's conspiracy. Tyler Robinson was the alleged shooter in Kirk's case. So yeah, there's also a Tyler, which is interesting. And that's not all. In the 1999 VHS version of Snake Eyes, Nicolas Cage's character says, "Hey Twigsy," to an usher at the 6:30 mark, aligning with Lance Twiggs, a name reportedly linked to Kirk's alleged shooter. This line is absent from streaming versions, and Lance Twiggs has reportedly disappeared. In Snake Eyes, character named Zeetz yells and stands to create a distraction during the shooting. George Zinn was accused of yelling and causing a distraction at Kirk's shooting. The Snake Eyes plot involves U.S. weapons transfers to Israel. Claims of Israeli involvement have been made regarding Kirk's shooting. The film's Hurricane Jezebel aligns with the feminist publication's satirical piece about cursing Charlie Kirk days before his death. Emergency vehicle in Snake Eyes is marked with 47. 47 caps referencing Donald Trump were on the table near Kirk during the UVU event. Kirk shooting occurred in Orem, Utah, where Orem derives from Old English meaning snake or serpent. Okay, that's quite an interesting coincidence. The director Brian De Palma was born in 11th of September 1940. The Snake Eyes DVD was released on September 11th, 2007. Blu-ray was released on September 10th, 2013, matching the date of Kirk's shooting. So I don't know what does all of this mean. Asuka Grover says if Candice Owens finds this out, she's gonna lose her mind. Don't know what's this referring to. I don't know what Candice Owens has said about this. The super chatter was right. Maybe it didn't go far enough. These are parallels between Snake Eyes and the assassination of Charlie Kirk. So connections to Charlie Kirk assassination. Assassinated name similarity. Charlie Kirk was Charles Kirkland. Yes, okay. Gonna try to breeze through this part. Actress linked Julia disguised like Erica Kirk, played by Carla Gugino, who is VP Elizabeth Kirk in 2025's Heads of State conspiracy film. Yes, Carla Gugino plays Julia in Blonde Disguise and VP Elizabeth Kirk in 2025 conspiracy thriller Heads of States. Boxer conspirator Tyler the Executioner distracts during the plot. Yes, the boxer Lincoln Tyler, nicknamed Tyler the Executioner, is an accomplice in the conspiracy, using his fight to distract from the assassination. Assassin initials TR. Yes, the sniper assassin is Tariq Rabat, initials TR, Palestinian terrorist used as the patch in the conspiracy. So yeah, like Tyler Robinson. Movie title Zodiac. Snake Eyes ties to 2025 as the year of the snake. Yes, 2025 is the year of the wood snake in Chinese Zodiac. Event date boxing match on September 10th, matching Kirk's assassination. Yes, no, that's not the assassination to the film boxing match occurs on September 10th. No, it's 19th. Um, Hurricane motif, Jezebel storm mirrors Jezebel sights, witch curse and Kirk a spiritual hurricane. Yes, the Snake Eyes unfolds and Hurricane Jezebel incurring Jezebel sights Etsy witch curses on Kirk as spiritual storm. Okay. Wound details. Kirkland shot on left side of neck with gushing blood. Yes, blah blah. Shot next left side of the neck with profuse bleeding. Real life report described Kirk's neck wound gushing blood from his left side. Filming location: Trump Taj Mahal linking to Trump's Kirk assassination. The Snake Eyes was filmed at Trump Taj Mahal Casino, and Donald Trump has been close associate of Charlie Kirk through shared conservative events and endorsements. As this false positive correlation is often described as a correlation that means nothing because it suggests a relationship between two variables that is not real or coincidental or caused by a hidden third variable rather than a true connection. These correlations are common in statistics when the correlation coefficient is close to zero, indicating a lack of meaningful linear relationship, though it doesn't rule out a nonlinear one. So is it trying to say that there's nothing sus about, like, there's one thing, like maybe it was Charles Kirkland who was shot in the neck. That would be okay, weird coincidence, but that's not the only one. Like Tyler the Executioner, Year of the Snake, and of course, like even Tyler Robinson, Tariq Rabat, like it they themselves are small coincidences, but like yeah, they do still match up. I guess I should watch the movie at some point. But yeah, it is like, I'm not saying it means like it's premeditated or anything like that, or proof of that, but it's synchronicity if nothing else. And oh yeah, there's this Snake Eye stuff was really weird, but this is not. Erica Kirk appears in a music video from 13 years ago, 322 length, like the Skull and Bones number. She points to Mandalay Bay, Las Vegas shooting hotel. Yeah, then zip lines past Giant 910. So also uses 1564 mind control chord sequence. Yeah, I don't know what that is. Foundring has been complaining that music uses these same chords and that's somehow bad, but I don't know about music theory so much. But yeah, let's just not gonna play the song because of copyright crap, but try to find the zip line. So this is Erica Kirk, I guess before she was married. So she was Erica French, yeah, French, whatever. And she has a tramp stamp. I don't know if it's just for the movie or the music video or whether it's, she's has it still. Or when's the zip line? I think it's fairly in the beginning, so that's why I don't wanna, um, you know, fast forward that much. Okay, let's do a little bit. Yeah, I guess yeah, this works. Yeah, I guess it's not that early after all. But yeah, now she's in Las Vegas. It was like when I had a watched this clip of this, I happened to find this stuff almost immediately, but I guess I got lucky. Oh yeah, there she is. There it is. Okay. Yeah, she's zip lining. Yeah, 19. So I don't know what this means, but surely it means something. All right, but that's the last Snake Eyes thing. But like 2 cents on the Snake Eyes thing. Like, I guess the common interpretation on the meaning of the coincidences between the movie and the assassination is that it's some predictive programming that it was planned as some sort of ritual by the elites and stuff, and it's possible for all I know, but I'm almost like beginning to suspect this sort of stuff. It's sort of like some sort of like a psychic bleed across time. And maybe it sounds fucking weird, but hey, the coincidences are weird, because I do think I've noticed it, like some ideas sort of, like, because there was the ancient, I am the fucking Argonaut, so there was the ancient Greek idea of the muse, that artists and stuff, they get inspiration from the muse, that they're not really the originators of many ideas. It comes from somewhere from the noosphere or something. So I think, like, maybe the assassination itself has had such a huge psychic backlash that it bled across time, to the 90s, and somebody made a movie out of it, or that's like, I'm almost gonna go with that. Like, if I had to bet which one was the real explanation for the coincidences, I would say it's something like that, maybe. Not to say that there couldn't be predictive programming, or that some other movies that coincide with reality might have stuff like this, but in this case, like, I don't know, it's too weird to be intentional, in my opinion. But anyway, I'm gonna move on. So then we have some Trump administration BS, some different stories about the Trump administration. So Trump says climate change is the greatest con job ever perpetrated on the world. Well, I'm not gonna say it's the greatest con job, but I do agree with that sentiment that it is one of the greatest con jobs. And Trump here saying, I think Ukraine, with the support of the European Union, is in a position to fight and win all of Ukraine back in its original form. Wait, this, yeah, September 24th, yeah. So fell for it again, or 5D chess. So yeah, he was supposedly, yeah. I do recall, like, reporting on peace talks and stuff a few months ago, that U.S. was trying to barter a peace treaty or a truce between Ukraine and Russia, but it hasn't happened, and now uh, Trump just seems to be gung ho for Ukraine, like the rest of them. Captive rape victim mode again. Okay. And oh yeah, and there's this. FBI admits that it had 275 plainclothes agents embedded in massive January 6th crowds. Once again, the conspiracy theorists were right. For over 4 years, Garland, Ray, or Horowitz denied or dodged questions about informants being involved in the riots. Yeah, well, we knew there were lots of blowies there. I think I had something here. No. What did I do? Okay, now I screwed something up. Okay, let's. I'll try to get them back. I pressed some wrong button. Why is it not? Oh, wait, that's why it's not showing. Okay, we are in too far. Okay, that's why it wasn't showing now. Okay, I'm gonna check. I should have something. thing. Okay, okay. No. It wasn't. I'm confused. Okay, it wasn't. Yeah, I'm dumb. Ignore what I said in the last minute. But yeah, but of course this, yeah, they had lots of plainclothes agents there in the January 6th insurrection. Okay, let's move on to this. And so Antifa firebombed rapper Ice Cube, thinking this was an ICE bus. So I think Ice Cube said this wasn't his bus, but it was like his crew's bus. But that's, sort of funny and sad at the same time. And this is just, well, funny. Representative Jack Kimball, I wanted to make a quick apology last night. I referred to President Bukele of El Salvador as President Bukake. This was the fault of spell check and not me. When you type a word a lot, spell check will start to change words that are close to it. I will be complaining to Apple when you type Bukake a lot. Like, hey, at least it's not like something really heinous kind of stuff that he's searching, so that makes him seem like not so, probably compared to many other politicians, less perverse, let's put it that way. However, what I find perverse is like, why the fuck would you use spell check? Like, if I have a phone and I write Japanese or something, because I don't know Japanese so well, I might use some spell check and stuff. But like, you know, if English is your native language, why would you use a spell check? Like, come on, man. Yeah, and there was some shooting at ICE somewhere. So I don't know all the details about it. I haven't heard anything that exciting or anything that controversial though. Anti-ICE gunman Joshua John spent 17,500 hours playing violent video games, including right before the shooting. So yeah, he played Left 4 Dead, Team Fortress, and Rust. Oh my god, he's gonna make you into a mass murderer or something playing video games like that. I've never played Rust, but I have played Team Fortress 2 and Left 4 Dead 2. But it's been years, so maybe I'm fine. Maybe you don't have to worry about me. And I haven't played like Team Fortress. I played, I don't know, probably not 1,000 hours, but I played many hours. Left 4 Dead 2, I played like maybe 10 or 20 on probably. But yeah, this is just BS. Like, I don't know what motivated the shooter and all that, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't because of video games. Mike Johnson is refusing to answer to swear in newly elected Arizona Democrat Adelita Grijalva. Maybe it's just we cannot say the name out or type it because it's too difficult. But she would be the decisive vote on releasing the full Epstein file. So yeah, this, I don't know if these are connected, these two things, or if there's another reason he's refusing to swear in Adelita Grijalva. But if that's the reason, that's BS, of course. And President Trump promoted homosexual Zionist and Douglas Murray's book on Truth Social. So really great and impactful book, just out on democracies and death cults by New York Times best-selling author Douglas Murray. Get it now, President Donald J. Trump. So the reason why I think this is, I don't know, annoying is that it just sounds like Trump has been paid to advertise a book. That's how it sounds like. Like, yeah, this guy gave, hey Don, here's $50. How about shouting out my book on Twitter? Okay, or Truth Social. Come on, he's the U.S. president. This is BS. Sickening chance of shoot eyes from the mob over 2,000 violent psychopaths outside of Broadview Processing Center in Illinois. This is transpiring just a few days after the horrific terrorist attack on ICE facility in Dallas. DHS is calling government breacher and blah blah blah. So this is Homeland Security. And Asmongold says, then do something about you fucking retards. Calling to shoot and kill federal agents is against the law. Why aren't they arrested? Imagine controlling all branches of the government. The only thing you can do is tweet. Yeah, exactly. Like for some reason, when the government would do something good, like, I don't know, arresting law enforcement officers that are actually trying to do something good, and then it's like, oh my god, we can't do anything. It's like, Trump, I'm monitoring the situation, I'm not actually doing anything. Okay, here. The fucked up part is that they had almost 300, isn't that they had almost 300 FBI agents there on J6. Okay, this was, I guess, the thing I was looking for regarding the J6. What's fucked up about our country is not one of them came forward the past 4 years. No way all of them align with far left ideology, but they sold their country out anyway for a paycheck. They're fucking cowards that should all be fired and put in prison for the rest of their life for treason. Yeah, and this sort of debunks the old cliche argument that they say that, like, if there was a big conspiracy, surely somebody would have spoken out. Like, there's no way they can keep a secret with secret conspiracy with so many conspirators, but apparently they can, and did until now. And I'm like, who was it that actually uh, leaked this information? And now it's supposedly official. Where was the story here? So yeah, FBI. So FBI admitted. Oh yeah, because there's new administration. So of course now they can admit this at least. So yeah, it's clearly you can have a large conspiracy and nobody is willing to speak out, because that's basically how. Okay, I'm gonna uh, have my 2 cents on this, like why they don't speak out, or why do some people claim that, if there was a vast conspiracy, somebody will speak. Because those people, those midwit boomers, say that, surely everybody will, they believe in some basis of, like, fairness and truth, and stuff like that. Like, of course, like, if you have lots of people doing something secretive and wrong, like somebody's conscience is gonna nag at them and they will speak out. It's like, no, that's not how most people work. Human beings are social creatures, and social pressure, that's much more valuable for most people. It's an anomaly to care more about the truth than social pressure. And most people would just, and of course, usually if you go against the social pressure, you're going to be punished in some way. When it comes to a conspiracy, maybe you will be killed, or maybe you should be just be ostracized from society if you don't play along. That's how it works. And anyways, move on to. So Bible Gateway was blocked in Europe, both like EU and UK for a while, but I checked with a VPN today, at least in Finland, it seemed to be working. Uh, so yeah, Bible Gateway has confirmed. So it's just a website where you can basically read Bible and many different versions of it. Bible Gateway has confirmed that its services are currently unavailable to users in the UK and European Union because of technical issues, quote unquote. In a statement posted on its website, the online Bible platform, it provides access to dozens of Bible translations, study tools, and devotionals. Apologized for the inconvenience. It added paid Bible Gateway Plus account users, well, yeah, they get a refund. So now it's back immediately, and of course, people speculated that this was because of the doxing rules and stuff, because in there are violent events depicted in the Bible, and also like incest and rapes and stuff like that. So that makes it, not suitable for minor audiences or something. So that's probably the reason why it was down. And but now it seems to be back as far as I can tell, because yeah, this was already September 10th, which is actually the day of the Charlie Kirk shooting. But I heard about this like a few days ago. But it is like in one sense, I would say it's a good thing that Bible gets banned. It's not because I want to get banned the Bible, but it sort of forces Christians who are unfortunately a bit ban happy usually, like usually a bit pro censorship, that they should um, take note that no, this censorship is not really to curb degeneracy and immorality, but it's to basically usher in the mark of the beast. That's what it's all about. It's about control for the by people who literally or figuratively worship Satan. Oh yeah, and then oh wait, not let's not go here yet. I had another story because this is related to Europe. Yeah, I was wondering like where did I put this? So in Hamburg, because this is related to religion and Europe, that's why in Hamburg, in Germany, music lessons, singing, piano, guitar are no longer allowed in public schools because music is haram in Islam and it would be considered Islamophobia to impose them on Muslim students. Thoughts? So yeah, what can I say? It's just silly. At least they're not speaking German for long. Or maybe it would be good if all of Europe was speaking German. But yeah, okay. So just to point out, Fuentes still sold out, not only defending Israel when it comes to Charlie Kirk, but also attacking people who point out the obvious discrepancies. And gonna point out just a few examples of it because I do take it personally because he was made to be the I was never, a fan of Fuentes or anything, but he was made out to be the public face of anti-Semitism, quote unquote. And if he obviously sells out, like, yeah, I don't appreciate it. Nick Fuentes will appear on the Patrick Bet David podcast. Recently, Bet David was criticized for hosting Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu for a softball interview. So I think he appeared already on the podcast. So it's clearly that something has happened with between Fuentes and the establishment. Like he was also on Russell Brand's channel and stuff. He's being promoted even more obviously by the establishment. Like no, he didn't sell out at all. The slow IQ anti-Semite. And Nick Fuentes says Israel has been a bigger positive to America than Muslims. He also agrees with PBD, so is it the Bet David guy? Whatever, wherever Jews go, it's safer and things are nicer, things get better. I'm speechless. How far is it?
Which
Okay, I'm not gonna play all that because like I'm just gonna trust Adam on this that Fuentes did indeed say stuff like this, and if I'm misinformed, then sucks to be me or something. But like, if Fuentes said that, like, come on, he's clearly sold his soul to the nose devil. And also, Nick Fuentes is a fraud and sellout. So let's see what's this.
How much I hate advertisements? I hate advertisements $1 million per year. That much. I just hate everything about it. I hate everything about advertising-based society. It's the most Jewish shit ever. Hi, I'm Nick Fuentes. If you want to text me or call me or ask me a question, you can find me on Minect.
So yeah, he said he hates advertising, but now he's advertising for Manette, whatever that is. And I've heard somebody's claimed that it's his first advertisement. Like he's been online for years, but it's his first advertisement. And in itself, I wouldn't say it's so bad. Like yeah, it's everybody who has any common sense hates advertising, but like sure, I might advertise something if somebody was willing to give me money, which I'm not holding my breath. But certainly, yeah, advertisement sucks. But like, if you get paid enough money, sure, I might be advertise some fucking dog food or whatever. I wouldn't be against stuff like that, and I couldn't hold it against Nick Fuentes. But it's the timing. Now that he's clearly, they're opening doors for him in the kosher establishment, and now he's also getting advertisers. So yeah, seems a bit too coincidental in that sense. Uh, and Nick Fuentes finds Erica Kirk very suspicious, criticizing her lack of emotion and believing she benefited from the most from Charlie's assassination. It's giving me Claire Underwood vibes versus Cheers. I don't know who's Claire Underwood. Maybe I should, but it doesn't ring a bell. But yeah, Nick Fuentes, you Charlie Kirk conspiracy theories are imbeciles. Also, Nick Fuentes, his wife did it. Like, yeah, it's like, I agree with Nick Fuentes that Erica Kirk is suspicious and like, where are her tears? I do agree with that, but like, is he really suggesting that she had something to do with the
Charlie and
assassination?
Erica,
Like, it's possible that she had something to do with, like, she collaborated with somebody, but I really don't think she was any kind of mastermind. And I don't know, like, this claiming that she benefited from it, that sounds a bit off. Like, did she really want to become the CEO of his company? It's just a big deal for her. Like, yeah, like I said in the earlier segment that I did. Do you think Erica Kirk is a bit sus? But there's something else, a political entity that's even more sus than her, that he doesn't think is sus. So yeah, his first sponsorship ever comes after he didn't blame it on Israel. Yeah, Minect. Get expert advice instantly. Well, that sounds lame. And there's this. Yeah, Nick Fuentes has praised Patrick but David for setting the standard in independent media. Yeah, I said Charlie Kirk demolished Fuentes from the grave. Yeah, like, Charlie Kirk turned out to be the based guy in the end, even though, like, I never was a fan of him when he was alive. But what's this? Okay, let's move on to the next part though. So YouTube admits they were censoring people during Biden's admin. YouTube admits the Biden administration pressured them to censor Americans who first terminated channels' opportunity to rejoin the platform. So YouTube admits it censored Americans under pressure from the Biden administration, says it will reinstate terminated accounts banned for political speech. And YouTube, so it didn't reinstate the accounts of Alex Jones and Fuentes. They made new accounts, but they were banned again. So YouTube has banned Alex Jones and Nick Fuentes in less than 12 hours after they created their channels. What a joke. And Computing Forever was allowed back on YouTube, and even like his channel was reinstated, and I think he's still there, so he wasn't rebanned. And well, he is my favorite of the three. I'm not a fan of Alex Jones or Nick Fuentes, but still, I think they should be allowed on YouTube. Alex Jones and Nick Fuentes made new YouTube channels. No, they weren't unbanned, so the PR stunt from YouTube worked. None of us are actually getting our original channels back, myself included, except Computing Forever, I think. They're doing the weird story shtick, hoping we'll forget their criminality. And yeah, Foundering was banned for making satirical songs, and nobody's really talking about him. But even he, he's still an e-celebrity. He's not a big e-celebrity, but he is one. And it's like, it's sort of just exasperating that, people talk more about, big names that everybody's heard of. It's, of course, more people know about them, so more people, but it's still like, if you don't have enough clout, nobody really cares what happens to you, how much you're banned, and stuff, even though maybe the takes you have are more based than the more mainstream alternatives. Um, and there's this YouTube to pay Trump $24 million in censorship lawsuit settlement. So Trump sued for YouTube in 2021 over his ban alleging government-driven censorship. Case now settled for 24 million. 22 million goes to White House ballroom via donation. YouTube admits no fault, avoids further discovery. But didn't they admit fault publicly? They admitted they censored things. Google recently admitted it censored post-COVID 2020 election under Biden admin pressure, even when they didn't break the rules. Google now calls that pressure unacceptable and wrong. They should have just told Biden to shove it up his ass. Or his, puppeteer, rather. Alright, now I have to change browsers. But, oh, forgot. Yeah, I have this comment from TLDR. So turns out Google was censoring their platform. They just admitted it. Cool, we already knew. They were doing it at the behest of the Biden admin. Cool, we already knew. Is anyone going to jail for this? No. So the Biden government violated your First Amendment rights in a big way. But hey, at least you still have your guns, right? Yeah, exactly. Good point. Like, we know a lot of bad stuff happened, but is anybody in an oubliette? No. I want to see peoples in oubliettes. All right, and now we go to Rapture. But before that, I'm gonna pour myself some water because I've been talking for almost 2 hours. Be right back. Well, actually, I'm just over here. I had to walk over to a table. Can you hear the water? I'm not bullshitting. Didn't go for a wank or anything like that. So the Rapture, there was this some dude that claimed that Rapture was supposed to happen like September 23rd or 24th or something, and newsflash, it didn't happen. Oops, wrong way, where? There. So Rapture theory explained why some people think the world will end today. So this is South African pastor's apocalyptic prophecy has sparked widespread panic and ridicule across social media. Some Christian believers praise for the rapture to take place today. And it was September 23rd. I guess it was then that the rapture was supposed to happen, and it didn't happen. And the reason I'm want to talk about this because let's put the AI image back. I think it looks nicer. So yeah, the people who believed in the rapture on that particular date, they were retarded. And I don't say it just to be mean. Well, partially I do say it to be mean, but I have good news. Like, if you were retarded on that particular day or that event, you can detard yourself and learn and not to be taken in by obvious hoaxes, because the vast majority of people, well, most people on Earth probably didn't even hear about the prophecy, but they, the people that did hear about it thought it was stupid, and they were right. Like, even all kinds of atheists that like to mock religious people, they were turned to be right, because I'm an agnostic basically, but I still nowadays I used to be an atheist when I was younger, but I nowadays still learn more towards religion and the fact that God does exist in some form, but I don't know which religion explains the nature of God best, but whatever. So, but anyways, they made the fedora atheists look good on this occasion, and that's of course shameful. Uh, but like, why do? Because I've seen similar kinds of stuff in the past 20 years since I've been let's say very active on the internet. I've seen many like this. Like sometimes it's rapture, like Christian stuff, or there's some New Age stuff, or it's Ashtar Command, like space peaceful space alien space brothers are gonna come save us. Many different variations of that, and I've been even like taken in a few times to wonder, like maybe this time there's something about it. But like never like saying like yep, this time is totally happening. Never been that taken in. But anyways, so I want to talk like why do people believe in it, and I do think there is a like the impulse that makes them want to believe in rapture, because it means that they believe that society as is now, it is corrupt and sinful and stuff, and they want to be saved from it. So I do think that is a good thing. It does denote a sense of reality, that indeed this world as it is, it has to be rectified somehow, or we have to be saved from it, because things cannot stand the way they are. But like ultimately though, this is like wishing just to be raptured away, because that's basically that's not what all Christians believe. It's basically some American thing, I think, is related mostly to dispensationalists, and those people that love the political entity of Israel more than Israel in the Bible, which means people who actually believe in Jesus. Um, but like ultimately, I think it's why people believe in that sort of stuff is laziness or fear, because they either don't want to do what it takes to fix things, or they are too afraid to do what to take certain steps to fix things. So they hope that God or whatever other supernatural force will save them. And because it was like seeing this rapture thing reminded me of something that I experienced, like somebody I met in, like, I think it was 2011, 1 year before 2012, when was the Mayan prophecies that the world was supposed to end, and or some said that it's gonna be the awakening and all that stuff. And I met some New Ager guy, and he said that he showed me his weird chart, how he believes that nature of reality and time is organized and stuff, and I didn't understand any of it, what it meant. But when I told to him that yeah, I was learning Japanese and Korean and languages like that, and he's like, "Oh, that's cool. Like maybe I would like to learn languages like that too, but there's no point, because soon we'll all be psychic, and we can just read each other's thoughts and understand each other without trying." And it's like, then it dawned on me that a lot of this stuff is about laziness, like this supposed spirituality. It's about laziness. You don't want to fix your own shit, so you want some supernatural answer to it. And I'm not certainly not saying all spirituality or religion is about it, but a lot, many of these things are. And also then I was reminded thinking about this stuff, like myself, when I was like, I don't know, let's say 12 years old. I was fascinated by psychic phenomena, and wanted to learn to use force, like in Star Wars, to move objects with my mind. I at some point I was thinking about, like, wait, like there are things as electromagnetic energy that you can use to move things, and there's like your brain is made of electric impulses, so maybe your brain could somehow become a electromagnetic force to levitate objects and stuff like that. But like ultimately, why I was so like obsessed at that point, like I wish I could, like I was 12 or something, so of course it wasn't that serious, but still I really wanted to learn how to use psychic powers or something. And so but ultimately it all was predicated on my laziness, because ultimately what I wanted to use the psychic powers for is like, when I was laying on the couch and couldn't reach the remote control, so I could use my force to bring the remote control to my hand and then change the channel like that. So that's why I wanted to have Jedi powers ultimately, not to, I don't know, create some, to fix the problem on some, I don't know, like a fundamental level. It was because I was lazy, and that's my 2 cents on also, like, most of this rapture BS and stuff like that. Let's move on to actual news. So the clot shot mRNA vaccine. No, still the wrong browser. This one. It causes cancer, supposedly. So, breaking large population study finds COVID-19 vaccines increase risk of 6 major cancers. South Korea study of 8.4 million adults finds higher risks of overall lung, prostate, thyroid, gastric, and colorectal breast cancers across both mRNA and viral vector platforms. Also, I think John Campbell has a video already, like a while ago, about some study from Italy saying similar stuff. And you don't you're preaching to the choir if you're gonna tell me that the jabs were bad because I didn't take it, and that was literally a hill to die on, that I would have refused it. But it's still like, to say it's, I don't know whether it's actually cancer that it causes. Like, I believe that it's gonna be bad for you, but ultimate way in which it's gonna be harmful to you, I still don't know. Except, like, well, the social conformity. Well, it is the good thing, I guess, that can be taken from it, even though it's not that good, is that it's like the whole pandemic thing sort of proves that normies are also to blame for a predicament, that a lot of people are more willing to go along with any kinds of dystopian bullshit, as long as it's the popular thing to do. That very few people are willing to stand up for what is right, and I don't think they can even comprehend that, if 99% of people say that, you know that's red, but then 1% says blue, they're gonna believe the 99% of, instead of the 1%, simply because it's the vast majority saying it. They don't even comprehend that there's a distinction between, you know something that is popular and something that is true, that they might not be always the same thing. Or was this? Oh, Slovakia is being based. So what's based about Slovakia right now? Here, bravo Slovakia. The Slovak parliament has just adopted a historic amendment. From now on, national law will take priority over European Union law. This is a direct step towards strengthening the sovereignty and independence of Slovakia. Out of 99 MPs present, 90 voted in favor, including most of the opposition. It's good. A rare moment of unity in defense of national interest. Why is it this is historic? Slovaks have lived through centuries where decisions about their fate were taken in Vienna, Budapest, Berlin, Moscow, or Brussels, almost everywhere except Bratislava. Whether under Habsburg rule, Nazi Germany, Soviet domination, or EU oversight, the pattern was the same. Slovaks rarely had the final say. The amendment signals Slovakia is mature enough to govern itself. Yeah, I wish this applied to Finland too. What does this amendment actually mean? Recognition of only two genders. I'm just gonna skip the extra stuff. Constitutional guarantee of equal pay for men and women, or well, whatever. Most importantly, Slovakia first. For other Slavic nations, this is an invitation. Should Poland, Czechia, Serbia, Croatia, Bulgaria swallow Slovakia's lead? Okay, whatever. Yeah, that's good for Slovakians. Good on them. Slovaks. Slovaks. backs. Okay, and Japan opposes immigration, or at least many Japanese, or at least they should. Let's see. Still, like wrong browser. So yeah. Okay, music away. This is how African immigrants behave in Japan. It's not happening in the West. It's happening wherever they migrate. Close your borders to them immediately, Japan. So yeah, he was, showing middle finger and then biking on the road, and yeah, why? Why is he doing that? Is there something wrong in his head? What's this? A huge anti-immigration protest happening in Osaka. That's good. Like, of course, you're gonna need more than protests, but I think Japan is still more conservative, like deep down than most of Europe. So it's like this sort of stuff probably has more impact in Japan than in European countries. Hey, what's this? Is it still Japan stuff? No, it's not. All right, let's move along to Israel delenda est. Israel has to be destroyed, and I'm of course just talking about the political entity, not calling on violence to any people or anything like that. But as long as Israel exists, we will have no stability or sanity in the world. So Tucker Carlson has reported that Israeli PM Netanyahu told multiple people, I control the United States, I control Donald Trump, Bibi is running around, this is a fact, I'm not guessing about this because I talked to people. He said it too. He's running around the Middle East, his region, in his own country, and telling people point blank, just stating, I control the United States, I control Donald Trump. Yeah, sounds credible because Netanyahu is a bit like a Goa'uld from Stargate. I've been watching Stargate, so sue me for bringing it up. Like he wants to be able to say directly, "I am a god. You have to do what I say." But like if he's not in a powerful position, then he's gonna lie. But if he is feels confident enough, then he will tell the truth about stuff like that. So yeah, yesterday Tucker Carlson revealed Benjamin Netanyahu is literally telling Middle Eastern leaders he owns Trump and America. Today Trump says Israel will not be annexing the West Bank. On the surface this appears to be a net positive, but it's not. It's a conscious effort to make Netanyahu look like he's lying. But if Netanyahu were lying, Trump would have done this long ago. The fact Carlson had to expose it before Trump made the declaration gives the game away. Timing is everything as always. Okay, it's to high IQ to 3D chess for me. FBI Director Kash Patel agrees to team up with Democrat Representative Jared Moskowitz to push censorship on Americans on social media who share conspiracy theories about Israel. Well, good thing I'm not an American, so it shouldn't affect me. This particular censorship, I'm gonna be subject to other kinds of censorship. But hey, I've been pushing conspiracy theories about Israel. Oh my god. Oh yeah, top secret Israeli nuclear documents are now being broadcast live on Iranian TV. Well, it's not right now. It was almost a week ago. But yeah, I don't know. I thought, or is it about nuclear plants or nuclear like nukes? Because officially Israel doesn't have nukes, but do they? Is it proof that they have them? Like, I wonder if they revealed anything like that people really didn't know already. And Italy is sending a Navy ship to the global Sumud flotilla to protect them from the Israeli army. Italian Defense Minister Guido Crosetto announced. That's good. Maybe the spirit of Hadrian is strong in Italy nowadays. Israel delenda est. Judea delenda est. Judea delenda. Anyways. I will not, Trump, I will not allow Israel to annex West Bank. Oh, nope, I will not allow it. Not gonna happen. There's been enough. Time to stop now. So yeah, that's what the AI was talking about. But yeah, interesting things to be seem to be moving quickly now. I don't know. Well, is there anybody left in Gaza nowadays? Anyways, like maybe they're just gonna kill everybody and then leave it vacant for like 5 years, and then I don't know, nobody cares after that what happens to that place. Israel to recognize Malvinas Falkland Islands as part of Argentina. Okay, so I guess now I support UK because I've been against. I don't really know what the Falklands Wars were about, but it's just always felt weird to me that there was a war in the 80s between Argentina and Britain, and it's very far from UK, like the Falklands or the Malvinas. So, but yeah. Morgoth says, at least it's in the open now, how Israel secretly armed Argentina during the Falklands War. So it had something to do with Israel meddling, I guess. The classified files reveal how Tel Aviv deceived Britain while it supplied Argentina's anti-Semitic dictatorship with weapons during the 1980s. Hmm. Why were they supplying weapons to anti-Semites? I don't know. So how is this real life? Laura Loomer says, after I alerted President Trump to the fact that Microsoft has hired Lisa Monaco to be their new president of global affairs, he has just called on Microsoft to terminate her employment. So wait, a Jewish journalist calls the president of the United States that a private corporation should fire somebody they just hired. What's going on here? Does she have more power over, like, more than Trump? I don't know who is Lisa Monaco. Why is she bad? But it's like, what? And why does the president have like the right to tell a company who to fire? It's just, yeah. How is this real life exactly? What's going on here, man? An Israeli company just purchased ExpressVPN. Israeli firms now control 8 major VPN companies. Why would Israel be interested in controlling a service that shields the user's IP? Yeah. The Israeli company in question acquired its first shares in ExpressVPN in 2021 and has fully owned the company since 2023. So that's not really news then. But it's good to know that, well, it is the most famous VPN, so it's obvious that you probably shouldn't be using it then. Yeah, I should look into Mullvad as long as my term for the current VPN I'm using right now when it runs out, because I've been hearing Mullvad is good. British actor Charles Dance, that's Dance, has said even if the Gaza war stopped tomorrow, there would not be peace in the Middle East until the Balfour Declaration is unpicked. Yes, Israel Delendes, because Balfour Declaration is what gave Israel to those people. Speaking to the Daily Telegraph, the Game of Thrones and the Imitation Game actor claimed that Britain had fucked up the region by issuing the declaration in 1917, which supported the establishment of a Jewish homeland. Dance added that Britain should apologize for its role. Hell yeah, they should. See, they're much worse than Germany in many respects, what the British have done. He admitted he is a bit obsessed with the ongoing conflict, stating that anyone with a conscience should be, yeah. Well, for me, it's the opposite. Like, I do have a conscience, but I don't want to look into it too much. Like, but I'm more obsessed with just Israel over many things it has done over the past few decades to screw up the world. Just not just Gaza and Palestine. I want to see Syria, Palestine return because Rome was cool. Matt Walsh asks, what have the Republicans in Congress actually done with the power and unprecedented cultural momentum they have? Can anyone name their top 3 achievements? Can anyone name one achievement? So Harrison H. Smith says banned TikTok for Israel, held 100 anti-Semitism hearings, forced capitulation of universities for Israel, sent billions of dollars to Israel, blocked Epstein files release, outlawed corporate boycotts of Israel, threatened to invade the Hague for Israel. Yeah, so you know what this means. It means that it's Qatar and Russia that control the United States. It's clear. So yeah, Microsoft MSFT terminates Israeli military's access to its technology after uncovering mass civilian surveillance system violating its terms. So I wonder if this is related to, the Lisa Monaco and her getting fired and stuff. But I think somebody said that they're not really actually terminate the Israeli military's access. They're just, sort of that this is trying to save face and something. But yeah, because I do believe that Microsoft is evil, not as evil as Israel, but still. So it's likely they're gonna do evil and collaborate with evil. What's this? Every single Jewish and black member voted no on Irina's law. It only passed because enough white people voted yes. If you're liberal moderate, take a step back and reconsider who your allies actually are. I don't know what exactly is Irina's law, but of course it's the Ukrainian woman who was stabbed on the public transport from behind by a random black guy. But of course, Jews and blacks oppose that sort of stuff. In the NC Senate, 77.8% of 36 whites, non-Jewish voted yes on Irina's law. 0 of the 10 blacks voted yes. There are 2 outspoken Jewish members, an Arab and a Bharatiya India. Why is Bharatiya just say Indian? I guess it means like India, curry Indian, not feather Indian. So 0 of these 4 voted yes. Overall, the vote was 56% yes, 16 no, and 28 not voting. Yeah, here she is. Yeah, so was it Lee Yu Kwan, like some former ruler of Singapore, saying that, if you live in a multiracial society, you won't be voting on issues but on racial lines? Sounds about right. How occupied is America? Marjorie Taylor Greene is probably the 3rd most powerful member of House Republicans. Today she called for the release of Epstein files. 3 hours later she made a post telling the public she wasn't suicidal. Our elected officials are literally scared for their lives to speak out against Israel or expose anything that might implicate Israel's control over America. This is exactly why Charlie Kirk was murdered the way he was. Yeah, exactly, to send a message. So here, Miss Magic the Gathering says, to be clear, to set the record straight on my support for the Massey Epstein discharge petition, I stand with girls and women who are sexually abused and raped. Period. Every time at all times. For me, it's not about pissing contests between political parties or political enemies. The Epstein rape and pedophile network must be exposed. The women and their attorney have said over and over that Donald Trump did nothing wrong and he was the only one who helped the women. That's factually true. Well, if that's true, why isn't he helping them now? Also, the Democrats who had power for the past 4 years never did a single thing or show they even cared about these women who were victims of Jeffrey Epstein. They could have exposed the entire thing while they had power, but never lifted a finger to do so. If anyone is implicated, then they have the right to clear the name, just as millions of Americans have had the right to do when falsely accused of a crime. I've had to do that many times and even had to defend myself against lies and pay massive attorney bills to do it. For example, I was wrongly accused of insurrection and actually had to sit on a witness stand in Georgia court of law and defend myself and clear my name, release all the Epstein information by any means possible, and return the focus to helping Americans. Blah blah. Yeah. It's too much blah blah blah. So Marjorie Taylor Greene's daughter acknowledging her mom having to assure general public she is not suicidal after backing the release of the Epstein files. This occupation has to end. So the fact that my mother even has to say this publicly, no words. Yeah. If something happens to her, we know who did it. But still, Nick Fuentes is there like, no, it wasn't Israel. It was, it was the Tranus. Um, so yeah, and Marjorie Taylor Greene said, I'm not suicidal. I'm one of the happiest, healthiest people you will meet. I have full faith in God and Jesus Christ is my Lord and Savior. As a sinner, I am blah, blah, blah. Ted Cruz says, why do crazy people keep thinking the Jews are trying to kill them? So yeah, Marjorie Taylor Greene, I don't want to die for telling the truth about Epstein. Ted Cruz, why do you hate Jews? Yeah. They always seem to admit it that way. You don't even have to accuse them directly. Damn, been talking too much, too long. It's the longest golden news ever. Israeli PM Netanyahu denies claim he controls President Trump. The idea that I boast that I control him, that's ridiculous, that's a lie. Andrew Torba said, it's so funny how he has to go on TV daily now to react to everything we say the day before Elmo. Elmo, yeah, that's how you say it. Marco Rubio met with former Al Qaeda commander Syria's Al Ahmad al Sharaa. Was hunted with a $10 million US bounty on his head. This dude literally filmed himself chopping people's heads off for ISIS. And why this is in Israel Del and Diest section is because, well, I started saying Israel Del and Diest after Syria fell because it was so obvious Israel was behind it. And of course, they control ISIS. Just so everyone understands about the tunneling Jews, there was blood on the mattresses. The tunnels are for satanic rituals. They were trying to bring a rabbi back from the dead. This rabbi explains it all in a way that doesn't get him arrested. Take a good look at the platform he's going on.
So
9/11. I'm not gonna play all that because the stream's so long already. But of course, what he's referring to is last year. This image might be a bit fuzzy, but Jews emerging from the sewers of New York. That was like a year and a half ago, more than that already. Damn, time goes fast. But yeah, it's interesting stuff. If this what he said is true. And what do we have here? The Mossad sent one of their agents to interview on 60 Minutes to brag how they run the script on the entire world. The world is our stage.
How did you convince Hezbollah to buy this?
Well, obviously, they didn't know that they were buying it from Israel.
Who did they buy it from, or think they were buying it from?
We have an incredible array of possibilities of creating foreign companies that have no way being traced back to Israel, shell companies over shell companies who affect the supply chain to our favor. We create a pretend world. We are a global production company. We write the screenplay. We're the directors. We're the producers. We're the main actors. The world is our stage.
Yeah, so that's why some people say every single time, and it means every single time. Okay, so ADL CEO Jonathan Greenblatt, half the world now hates us, young people hate us the most. Oh my god, I feel so bad for him. Oh my god. It's true that the Jews benefit from anti-Semitism in a very real way, and this has been widely admitted by them and understood by others looking on. It allows them to paint themselves as always under threat, forever in an existential crisis, fostering a unity and tribalism organization, proactive advocacy. I think this sort of like being under threat, that's also what's been happening in the world ever since 9/11. There's some sort of like they turned everybody Jewish basically with 9/11. But this only works insofar as they've been able to keep other people, specifically white men, from experiencing any similar racial consciousness or unity or tribalism, ensuring they can't organize or act in any unified way. They have our entire political class to help them, several police chiefs and federal agents and judges in the bag, and an unlimited and bottomless pool of monies. But even this won't be enough soon. Public is far too angry, far too aware, and far too eager to shake off this parasitic scourge, which has cost them everything and in return given them nothing at any cost. The future is bright. Yeah. Yeah, like I do think like when they say future is bright, first we're gonna have like bright like the Akira. Let's see if I can Akira explosion. Yeah, like this sort of explosion first bright maybe, but after that is actually gonna be bright after the pain caused by the explosion. All right, but let's move from Israel to video games and entertainment. So the home stretch or whatever. Let's see, what do we have here? Electronic arts. So okay, I'm doing this as a interesting sort of thriller kind of story. So Electronic Arts is buying itself back and going private. Video game giant Electronic Arts nears roughly $50 billion deal to go private. So sort of rumor at this point, it's going to happen with EA, and Trump's son-in-law Jared Kushner is reportedly interested in buying EA and taking it private. The end of gay at EA. So EA strikes a $55 billion deal to go private in a Saudi-backed buyout just a week before the launch of Battlefield 6. So I think it's Saudis, so um, like Saudis and Saudis. No, Kush-Arabia, that's what I said. Yeah, Kush-Arabia is buying it. So Kushner and Saudis, and says the end of gay. So it's gonna be unwoke and stuff. And I I'm not like Kushner is in my favorite people or anything, and nor is Saudi Arabia, but like I guess if they get rid of the gay flags and stuff, that's positive. And EA was so bad already, they can't really make it worse. So this is good news. I'm not gonna read all that stuff because it's EA. Who really cares that much? Devon Pritchard, sounds like Pritchard, like sounds like prick or something, becomes the new president of Nintendo of America after Doug Bowser retirement. So yeah, she's supposedly not the best person. Wait, I think I had some other tab on her too. Yeah, so okay. Found chief legal. No, this is different person. But yeah, I think somebody says she's very litigious and stuff, and Nintendo has been very litigious recently, anyways, and all these patents and lawsuits and stuff. So found the chief legal officer of the Pokemon Company International. Surprise, surprise, she's an activist, litigation crazy, boba liberal. What is a boba liberal? I don't know. With ties to the DEI industrial complex. So Jennifer Liu. Yeah, okay. So Nintendo. Uh, there were news like a year ago, whenever it was, that Pokemon or Nintendo were hiring DEI consultants, and people were like, yeah, it's probably not a big thing. And I said like, I can't wait to see Pokemon. I mean, Nintendo going woke and slowly dying, and people mocked me, but I guess it's now happening. Like, I'm not saying Nintendo is gonna die anytime soon, but gradually they might be. Okay, but Metroid Prime 4 is reportedly Nintendo's most expensive game ever with 100 million budget. Well, it's much less than Concord, but I don't know, I get the vibes from it that it's gonna be a bit like Concord. Like, not as bad, but like, it's probably gonna be mediocre. And, not make Metroid Prime fans happy. That's just my feel. Oh, okay, here is more about Devon Pritchard. Will become the new Nintendo of America president, the first woman to hold this role. Even more shocking news, Satoru Shibata will be joining Nintendo of America CEO. So a woman who is pro-censorship and a guy who is allowed Nintendo to to be overrun with DI, your new Nintendo of America, ladies and gentlemen. So yeah, Nintendo delenda est. You know, I don't believe in reformation. Like, you know, when the demonic infection takes over your body, you have to amputate the entire fucking body along with the head and the heart and everything else. Okay, so Silent Hill F for feminism is out. Someone already removed Fog in Silent Hill F, lol. So it's just basically, so Fog is there just to obscure things, because in the original Silent Hill games it was to, you know, help with rendering, because the PlayStation 1 and 2 couldn't render everything so easily. But and it also created atmosphere. But now it's just to cover everything up. The fog hides objects completely after a certain distance, so there's no reason to render anything beyond the distance. They render it anyways. Devs can't even cheat better performance anymore. Pathetic. Yeah, exactly. And I also saw like a couple of videos on the game. It just looks very mediocre and boring. And it has feminist propaganda. It has nothing to do with Silent Hill. You know, it doesn't take place in Silent Hill or anything. So, and I've heard that the final boss is spoilers. It's a wedding dress that symbolizes, like, you know, society's expectations on women and how they should get married and stuff like that. She has to defeat it. So yeah, it's garbage. I don't have to play it. I almost felt my own sanity slipping. Silent Hill actress Konatsu Kato on the psychological toll of playing main character of Hinako Shimizu. Oh my god, it was traumatizing. I had to say some lines in the microphone. Oh my god, I'm literally going crazy. Oh my god, yeah. Or maybe the game is so bad. Maybe in that sense it makes sense that she was going crazy for having to participate in that bullcrap. And yeah, what? That's a good response. Reaction. Hideo Kojima wants to scan a ghost into OD, but he already recorded the ghost in his studio, and that's why we went to the shrine together with Microsoft to make sure the game isn't haunted. Yeah, like I'm not sure what's going on here, but I do think this is like a brilliant marketing strategy, because like, okay, I'm interested and a bit scared. What the fuck is this game? How do you scan a ghost? Like a picture, like a visual image of ghost, or literally like a ghost into your game? I don't know. Interesting. I am genuinely intrigued. But yeah, maybe I don't want to play it. I'm a bit too worried. Maybe I get possessed. So Konami confirms Metal Gear Solid Collection Volume 2 is in production with details coming soon. They also plan to remake Metal Gear Solid 1, noting is that the most challenging project. So I think this means Metal Gear Solid Collection 2, Volume 2. It doesn't mean Metal Gear Solid 2, or is it a different game? It's like, why did they start with Metal Gear Solid 3 as remake and then do 2 and 1, or 1 and I don't know, like, why do you do it in this order? And why the fuck do they have to remake everything? Like, most of the games that I talk here seem to be remakes or remasters and stuff. Like, can't anybody make new games? At least, okay, this is a sequel. Code Vein 2 will include De Novo. Bandai Namco, so the first one also includes De Novo, I believe. Bandai Namco is resuming De Novo use with upcoming Digimon and Code Vein titles. Code Vein TTs. So yeah, De Novo bad. I won't be buying stuff with De Novo. Steam issues full refunds for Destiny 2, Age of Fate, and Year of Prophecy Ultimate Edition after Bungie blocks access in multiple countries. Destiny players in cis countries, it doesn't mean cis-het, straight, white man countries. It means like cis countries are like Russia and some former Soviet republics, I think. So these countries report being locked out without notice after a week of taper errors. Bungie states access is restricted by law. So what, you live in a bad country, you can't play game. At least it's good they get refunds, but like, who like, is some government demanding them to block those countries, or is it just that the corporation itself is doing the blocking? That's what I'm interested in, like what's going on here. What's this? Deus Ex Remastered stole the show at PlayStation State of Play. Like, yeah, in a vacuum, I'd be interested in this, but now I'm so much getting like remaster and remake fatigue. That's like, come on, why? Like, yeah, the original Deus Ex was a great game, and if we lived in a good timeline, I'd be like, oh, cool, they're making a remaster. I guess I might check it out. But it's like, I know, I don't want to see a remaster. Let's just make a new game. Something in the spirit of Deus Ex, but not Deus Ex. Borderlands 4 for Switch 2 has been delayed indefinitely due to performance issues. All pre-orders will be cancelled and refunded automatically. So yeah, Switch 2 cannot even handle its awesomeness. Oh well. I don't think the Switch 2 players are missing out much anyway, so who really cares? Hey, at least it's not a remake, it's just a sequel. But here's another remake. Trails in the Sky, first chapter. So Cabruto says, first of all, scores given by journalists are as important as a drop in the ocean. Secondly, why do so many game journalists live on Trails in the Sky? They only know mainstream. None of them truly love video games. Well, as somebody who, I don't know, oh yeah, because this is 2025 has been such great fun. So all these games, I guess, yeah, big names mostly. Um, But like, yeah, Trails in the Sky. I like the original. Actually, I haven't played Trails in the Sky 3, but like the first chapter, second chapter, they were great, and also the uh, Crossbell games, Trails to Azure, Trails to whatever they were called, and then the uh, what's the trail? What the I don't remember the name of the ones with the military kids in the bad guys, the country that are there. Like, damn, my names are slipping out of my head. The country that's the bad guys in Trails in the Sky, and um, Sen no Kiseki. That's the Japanese name, I believe, but I don't remember what's the English name. Anyways, so yeah, I like them, but like, the original Trails in the Sky, it was published like 20 years ago or something. Looks something like this. I think, it's not the best looking game, but it looks fine. Like, is it that Zoomers cannot play 2D games? They have to have 3D graphics. Like, I guess, yeah, sure, it probably looks nicer to have new 3D graphics in the remake. Well, these images are, okay, this is much better. I guess, yeah, sure, it looks graphically nicer, but like, really, did they have to remake it? Like, why can't you just play the original? It's not like it's made in 1990 and it's like, like has some really retarded things that some old games do have. I think it's still a very functional game in all respects. Just graphics are a bit dated. They were already dated when it came out, so um, and hey, at least this is a completely new game, so that's good. Are you allergic to beauty? So they're talking about their new James Bond game. I can see that was it's responding, but yeah, these are the characters, female characters from the new James. And yeah, it's James Bond. It's known for attractive females, but yeah, not anymore. It's gonna be garbage. Monster Hunter World, Monster Hunter Rise, Monster Hunter Wilds will not be guaranteed to run on Windows 10 starting October 14th. So that's just like 2 weeks later. Yeah, 2025 are still playable. Future systems or game updates may cause incompatibility. That sounds almost like it's probably breaking some laws. Like, I understand if they make Monster Hunter Wankers the next sequel, then that's only Windows 11 only. But like, if you have Windows, like if it ran on Windows 10 when it came out, I think it's bullshit to basically break the game. But also, you know, doesn't really affect me personally because those people whining about, oh my god, Windows 10 won't be functional anymore. Well, I think I see Windows 10 as Windows 11 as the same shit. Like, is Windows 10 actually any better than Windows 11? Maybe it is, but I still think both suck. And Windows 7 was where Windows peaked. It's been downhill ever since. Oh yeah, Square Enix once again removes genders in remaster. Final Fantasy Tactics, Ivalice Chronicles, they now list characters under recruits while still having jobs such as Bard and Dancer being locked to male, female characters. Making makes sense. So yeah, Bard can be only male and Dancer can be only female, but still it doesn't say they are male or female. Yeah, here. Original male fighter, female fighter changed name, and here is rename recruit. So yeah, that seems like bullshit. I won't be won't be playing the remaster. Yeah, so they are considered offensive terms by Square Enix nowadays. And yeah, so it's added to DEI detected games list. So yeah, certainly will be not be touching that one. Oh yeah, and then there's all. This is the last one. All art is political. Explain to me how this is political. Well, I do agree with the uh, like the statement. Like the left says that all art is political, and I sort of agree because like this picture, it is political. Like I think the distinction that should be made is like whether it's explicitly or implicitly political. Like some, like a lot of leftist art, quote unquote, is explicitly political and it's mainly there just to push political message. But good art is usually implicitly political. Like this image does clearly push traditional um, traditional concepts of beauty or female attractiveness, and which I mostly agree with. So, but it's still political, and it's just like let's say you live in medieval Europe, where 99% of people believe that Jesus Christ is God, and if you make art saying that Jesus is God, and then it's still political. It's just nobody sees it as political because it's the norm, but it is political. But it's it doesn't mean that if you make art in medieval Europe saying that Jesus is not God, it's also political. But it's only it stands out because it is differs from the norm and stuff like that. So yeah, I do think art is political, but like yeah, it's just most of it shouldn't be explicitly so. That's my 2 cents on that thing. But yeah, that's my 2 cents on everything. So yeah, I don't know. Resist digital ID, and certainly Charlie Kirk's assassination was inside job and so forth. Gonna end the stream now. This was so long. I'm Adventure Argonaut. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.